Welcome back, everyone, to Creativity Made Easy. I'm your host, Dustin Peed, creative coach and consultant, and we are here today to talk about something that can be super scary, and that is creative vulnerability. I can't wait to talk to you about that today. Let's get started. All right, thanks everyone for joining the program today. I'm so happy to be with you, whether you're watching on YouTube or you're listening as you're driving down the road or whatever it is that where life may take you. I want to thank you for being a part of this. You can follow along with me online at dustinpeed.com. If anything that I say in any of these episodes rings a bell for you, I would love to chat with you about how I can help make your creativity thrive and make it easier for you to create your best work. You can follow me at dustinpeed.com. You can follow me on social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. All of it is at Dustin Peed, P-E-A-D. If you're watching on YouTube, I would love for you to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so that you can be notified every time one of these videos drops. If you are listening to this podcast, thank you so much for your support. It would mean the world to me if you would leave a 5-star review to help give this podcast a little bit more legs and take it even further. Listen, we've got Halloween just around the corner a couple days from now. If your kids are like mine, they're doing last-minute costume changes. They're trying to figure out who they're going to be, who they're going to go with, where they're going to trick-or-treat at. Even my daughter right now is wondering what vessel she'll be carrying her candy in this year that will work for her the best. I think we've moved to a drawstring backpack is what's going to work the best for her this year. But we've got all sorts of things going on, trying to make lightsabers out of glow sticks and all those fun things. Listen, creativity is in abundance in our house right now this time of the year. But with Halloween coming, there's a lot of all that like spooky stuff out there, right? And so as creatives, one of the scariest things for us can be sharing our work and being vulnerable with our creativity, right? We can tend to hoard it for ourselves. We can keep quiet. We can, all the thoughts and ideas that we have in our head. Just last week, I had an idea that I thought was so crazy and so stupid. And I told one of my friends, I said, this is the dumbest idea I've ever had, but I'm going to tell you about it right now. And you know what he said? It really surprised me. He goes, actually, that's not a dumb idea at all. Me and my wife have been talking about an idea very similar to that, and I think it'd be really cool for you to put something out like that. So now I'm actually kind of going, okay, maybe it's not so dumb after all. Maybe we stop ourselves in our own minds before we ever even voice the idea out there. Is this a good thing or not? Is this something I should pursue or not? And we tend to self-edit, right? And that stops us from creating our best work. We can keep to ourselves. We can kind of get in our own little huddles. Like I have my own little creative studio here, and we can kind of stay in here. But as you heard me say before, like we need to get out. We need to go to the art museums, to the coffee shops, to the cool new restaurants, to the fall festivals, right? We need to go to those things so that we can be surrounded by other people and their creativity as well, and we can spur each other on to create greater things. Listen, we can create in silos too. We can say, no one's going to help me with this project. I'm going to do it all on my own in the name of myself, in the name of my brand, in the name of I can do this and I don't need anyone's help. Listen, friends, that can be a scary place to create from, because you can create so much better if you don't create in silos. If you're willing to open yourself up and share your creativity and share that project a little bit, we can create greater things. Listen, just to be vulnerable with you for a second, I've been learning a ton about loneliness. It's been in the air everywhere, from a book that I just finished reading called The Art of Gathering. I believe the author is Priya Parker. Super, super detailed work that she put into about why we gather as humans and how we gather as humans and kind of the purposes behind our gatherings. It was super fascinating. I encourage you to definitely take a look. Liz Bohannon is kind of blowing up in the YouTube world right now. She is a Christian author and speaker. who lives out on the West Coast and has built this really beautiful community of people to do life with. And it's kind of a radical way of looking at it. But I think if we're honest with ourselves, we all kind of long to have that same type of thing. And it's because we need our people. I've said this many times before, friends. As creatives, we need our people. What we do in these circles, these creative circles that we've talked about just recently, I think I put a blog post out there a few weeks ago about creative circles. Again, just being open and honest, this is the stuff that I'm learning about right now. Even more than I've already kind of felt that I knew before, it's going to a next level. What we do in these circles makes a difference in our work. I want to share just to kind of peel back the curtain a little bit. As I said, I've been really having the subject of loneliness come towards me in a lot of conversations. I've had friends text me about it. I've had deep conversations about it. And then earlier this week, I was digging through the books here in my studio, and I was like, I need another book to read. I'm not really happy with what's next on my book list, and so I ended up deciding on a biography of Winston Churchill, which I'm super stoked about. But as I was digging through the books, I remembered that I have this book from Todd Henry, who, if you know me, is one of my all-time favorite authors and speakers. Todd Henry is known for the book The Accidental Creative, and he created a whole company about being brilliant and creative at a moment's notice. And lots of other books have come out of that. One of my favorites is Herding Tigers. Shout out to Todd Henry. He's doing amazing work there, based out of Cincinnati. But he has this really great book called The Daily Creative. And I can't tell you the last time that I opened up this book. It's just like basically almost like a creative devotional. It's one page a day, just kind of spur you on in your creativity. And I found it as I was digging through my books, and I was like, I need to put this on my desk, and I need to start reading it every morning during my workday startup. I need to kind of be reading this and kind of recenter myself before I dive into creating work, right, and creating different podcasts and videos and projects, and working with other people and their creativity as well. And so I'm recording this today on Wednesday, October 24th. Yesterday, on Tuesday, October 23rd, was the first day that I had it on my desk, and I'm like, I'm going to pick it up and read it. And I kid you not, I can't make this up. Yesterday, October 23rd, if you have his book, you know, October 23rd is called Your Circle. And he's talking about how we need people, and we need our creative circle. And so he ends with this. I want to read this to you. He says that relationships are an important contributor to creative growth. Make certain to carve out time to connect with others who inspire and challenge you. Listen, it can be a scary thing to put yourself out there like that. It can be a scary thing to say, I know that I need other people in my life, and so I'm going to open up. I know just in the last 7 days, I had an instance where I really wanted to just kind of seclude myself. That's what I wanted to do. But I knew what I needed was to be vulnerable enough to text a few people and say, I want to be alone today, but I know it's not the best place for me to be. So I'm going to confess that I want to be alone, but I'm not going to stay there. I'm going to come and I'm going to be with people in this moment right now. And I did it, and I can tell you I'm so much better for it. It's been just a fresh new wave of creativity on my shoulders ever since then. And so I just want to plead with you that I know vulnerability with your creativity can be scary. I know that putting yourself out there in your work and sharing your life with other people and sharing your struggles with other people, I know it can be scary, but trust me, the reward far outweighs any fear that may be keeping you from being able to experience that. So how can you this very week, how can you be intentional about creative vulnerability? Yes, it can be scary, but it's worth it, as I just said. Just put yourself out there. Send the text. Share the thing. Post the blog. Tell your friend the crazy idea. Walk across the street and have a conversation. Walk across your office and have a conversation. Listen, friends, the world needs your creativity. So get out there, be vulnerable with it, share it with the world, and let's make some great, beautiful things together. Thank you so much for listening today. We're going to start next week. I'm so super pumped about this. I won't have all the details for you right now, but starting next week, I'm going to be releasing podcast episodes in series. One of the things that I saw when I was releasing the Enneagram series was that a lot of people were really tuned in to, I can't wait for the next one, I can't wait for the next one. And so I was talking to one of my coaches earlier this week, and I said, I think I'm going to just do some podcast series in batches. One of my favorite podcasts out there is from Annie F. Downs called That Sounds Fun, and most of her podcasts are in series. And if you know me, I spent a large portion, almost 20 years of my life in the church world, where all I did was package messages in a series of weeks. And so I'm going to give it a shot, just being open and vulnerable with you right now. And something that I'm going to venture into is some podcast series. And so next week we get into the month of November, and we start thinking about Thanksgiving and thankfulness. And so I want to spend a few weeks during the month of November talking to you about creating from a place of gratitude. It's going to be an amazing series. It's going to be an amazing time as we learn to grow and be creative and vulnerable with each other in our creativity. And we strive to make better and more beautiful things together. Thank y'all so much for listening. We'll talk to you next week on Creativity Made Easy.